A slider and a straight change to go with it.
Former Astro Willie Taveras gets it started for Cincinnati. There's the fastball, and it's good for strike one. Humberto Quintero is doing the catching. Taveras at 250, no homers, no runs batted in. Has scored 7 times in the first 10 games. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Paulino pitched very well in those 2 starts at Round Rock with a 1-0 record, a 0.75 ERA. And his last outing Tuesday was a fine one. 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 run against Omaha. He threw 108 pitches. So this is his normal day to pitch.
Coming out of the gate with nothing but fastballs. 96 miles an hour the first couple. That one clocked at 94. He throws both a 2-seam and a 4-seam fastball. The kind of stuff that can beat you up in the zone. He can certainly throw it by you.
Slashed up the middle and into center field. A single for Willie Taveras, his first hit of the series after going 0 for 7.
Well, obviously trying to establish that fastball early, but you're going to have to mix it up a little bit. He's got a violent delivery. He missed all of last year with that arm problem, had a pinched nerve in his arm. It's not what you would call a smooth, effortless delivery. Really kind of pulls off to the first base side and muscles up on it.
Left fielder Chris Dickerson with a homer and 3 runs batted in, sports a .263 batting average. Dickerson's hit by the pitch. He squared around a bunt, and that one got him in the leg. Runners at first and second for Joey Votto with nobody out.
Well, you know, command issues here early, and that's understandable for the youngster. Just a couple of big league games under his belt. First time he's been out there this year. Tejada going to go in and have a chat with him.
Paulino, of course, coming to spring training, was hopeful of making the Astros club after missing all of last year. He has started 3 games in the majors and appeared twice in relief. His major league record 2-1 with a 7.11 ERA. There just was not room for him on the Houston staff. Votto's on a 6-game hitting streak. A strike 1 to him. Votto at 385 has the 7th best batting average in the National League. He has 2 homers. He's driven in 10. He's 3 for 8 in this series. And he has a homer in 3 at bats against Paulino. Paulino got his first major league win against the Reds. That was in 07. 1 ball and 1 strike. Baseball America ranks every team's top prospects. Baseball America ranked Paulino number 7 on the Astros prospects prior to this year. He had been number 2 prior to the 08 season. And Votto started and was called for swinging by Paul Schreiber. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Good heartbreaking pitch there, and Votto doesn't fool easily.
Paulino born in Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic, but then he went through the Astros Venezuelan Academy. Votto strikes out. That's big for Paulino to get him the first out of the game.
Now mixing it up a little bit better in this confrontation with Votto. He stayed fastballs to the first 2 hitters, but a couple breaking balls to Votto, and that gets the hitter off that fastball a little bit. And that thing, just a nasty pitch. 96 miles an hour, good movement down and away. Votto's lucky he didn't hit it. Would have been a double play ball, perhaps.
Yeah. Paulino will take one of those right now from Brandon Phillips, a 200 hitter with 1 homer, 5 runs batted in. Phillips 0 for 5 with a couple of walks in this series.
I'm guessing Felipe grew a little bit after the Astros signed him, because they signed him as a shortstop. Can you imagine that big guy out there playing short?
No. Not really.
6'2", about 250.
Phillips takes the breaking pitch, and it's 0-2. This is Humberto Quintero's 2nd start of the season. Right there where he set up. Crack to second. There's Smith tossing. Tejada, the middleman, on a 4-6-3 double play. No runs a hit and a man left, and the Astros get their 16th win killing of the season. Paulino cleans up the inning after the first two reached. No score. Michael Bourne in center field leading off, followed by Miguel Tejada, who's been torrid for the last 5 games. At shortstop, leads the club in hitting. Lance Berkman's the first baseman. Carlos Lee in left field hitting .250. Then it's Hunter Pence. In right field, Jeff Blum, 3-game hitting streak. Third base, Jason Smith. Second base, Humberto Quintero, catcher for Felipe Paulino.
Edinson Volquez really burst onto the scene with the Reds last year. Was an all-star, got off to a great start in 08. Not so great so far here in 09. He's got a win and a loss, but a .964 ERA has not been effective in either one of his starts. And defensively, the Reds look like this. The outfield is a good one. Speed with Dickerson, Taveras, and Nix. The infield, Encarnacion, Gonzalez, and Phillips. Joey Votto's the first sacker. And the veteran Ramon Hernandez behind the dish for Edinson Volquez. Good fastball, great changeup, and also a slider.
Michael Bourne pumps one to left center field. Willie Taveras over diving, and tremendous play by Taveras, robbing Bourne on the first pitch by Volquez. Taveras laying out, and now he's hands on knees trying to recover from that diving play. That looked like a double.
Michael jumping on the first pitch. He hit it hard, and Taveras gets a nice break on this ball. Remember when Willie first came up with the Astros, he had a hard time going to his right. And this time, I think this ball fools him a little bit. I think he thought it was deeper than it was, and he had to kind of curl back before leaving his feet and making a fine play.
Sure did. So that's one out for Volquez with that high ERA. He has struggled through the first 2 games. That's a lift for him, provided by his center fielder, now Miguel Tejada. 10 hits in his last 20 at-bats. He's back from ball 1. 357 for the club leader. And batting average, he's looking for his first RBI of the season. He's hit .421 here at Minute Maid Park. Strike makes it 1-1.
Volquez beat the Astros twice last year, both times in this ballpark, and pitched very well both times. Good movement on his 2-seamer.
Yes, it was. 1 and 2. Tejada 3 for 8 in this series.
A wiry guy, draws comparisons to his hero, Pedro Martinez. Long and limber arms, long fingers, great changeup. That sounds like Pedro.
Yes, Pedro-like numbers against the Astros. 2 balls, 2 strikes for 25-year-old Edinson Volquez, an all-star last year. Traded with Daniel Herrera for Josh Hamilton after the 07 season. Those players have brought very good returns for both teams. Chop to first. Votto tossing, and it's dropped. The toss was behind Volquez, and he was looking to hit the bag and get his footwork right. The toss didn't lead him. It was behind him, and so that will be an error on Votto.
And Votto made an error last night on a ground ball that he mishandled. A real easy play here. And there's a little culpability on both parts there, because probably should have had it, but obviously Votto, the feed behind Volquez. He's trying to find the bag, and he takes his eye off the ball. E3.
Well,
they gave it to the pitcher.
Pitcher gets the error, and Votto gets an assist. All right. Lance Berkman, the batter.
I got to put that one on the first second.
Yeah. Berkman, 189, 2 homers, 6 runs batted in. Double play depth on the infield now. There's ball 1. Berkman has walked 10 times. There's the infield alignment for him with Gonzalez and Phillips playing a double play depth. Carlos Lee on deck. Lance scored the 900th run of his career last night. The third Astro to reach that plateau.
A little frustrated right now with the way he's swinging the bat. But he's trying to channel the great Babe Ruth this afternoon.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, did you see him in the clubhouse before the game?
No.
Somebody sent him this bathrobe, an Astro bathrobe. Looks like the white uni with the pinstripe, with his name and number on the back. And he's just like the Babe walking around in that big bathrobe in the clubhouse.
Nice.
All they need is a stogie, you know.
Yeah. That wouldn't be in character with him, though. He might do a Ruth-like act. 189 a year ago, 295 with 4 homers. He came out of the gate very nicely last year. Went on a torrid pace. He's a .334 career hitter against Cincinnati. A fly ball left field line, will slice away, and out of play for Dickerson. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, the old Babe Ruth bat was brought out before Derek Jeter led off that first game at Yankee Stadium. It was laid down at home plate, and that hasn't been good symbolism. The Yankees have lost 2 out of 3, and they really got drubbed yesterday.
It could be a new curse of the Bambino.
It could be. Berkman has 44 career homers against Cincinnati, his most against any club. Nice bright day, and it's 3-2, and Volquez has had command issues, walking 8 in 9 1/3 innings.
Well, and he walked a bunch last year, and that's the key against him. He's got very good stuff, but you got to make sure he's in the zone. Don't do him any favors expanding. Some serious lettuce he's got coming out under that hat.
The hat is going. It's ball 4. Now 2 men on for Carlos Lee. That's the 11th walk for Berkman this year. And that means Lee has a couple of men on as he comes up after a big game last night. Carlos with 3 hits, a walk, an RBI, and a run scored. A couple of runs scored last night. 250 for the season.
Still so early in the year, you can go from being cold to being red hot in one day here. You know, you're hitting 189 one day and 310 the next if you have a 4 for 4.
Yeah, he jumped from 189 to 250. That's a nice jump. Hunter Pence on deck. That's strike 1. Volquez signed as a free agent by the Rangers in 01. Last year, he worked 196 innings and he fanned 206.
He was the player to be named later twice by himself. He changed his name a couple different times.
Foul back, 0-2.
Julio Reyes, I think, or something like that when he first signed.
Was he?
Yeah, and then he became Edison. And then later on, at the end, to become Edinson. Mostly just to befuddle broadcasters, because it's a whole lot easier to say Edison than Edinson.
Yes, it is. But broadcasters had to learn that pronunciation last year because he was on his way to a 17-6 season And he had the 8th best ERA in the league, 3.21. He was discussed quite a bit on the air last year. Line shot left field. Dickerson over, makes the catch. Here's Tejada scrambling back and diving into second base. And now he will go to third as the throw gets away from Brandon Phillips. The throw from Dickerson was low, and Phillips failed to stop it. It trickled away, and Tejada hustled to third.
Yeah, a couple of miscues in the infield early here for the Reds. And that's one where, like a first baseman, you've got to come off the bag and just make sure you knock the ball down, because it wasn't going to be close anyway. Look at Miggy playing that day game after the night game like a teenager.
Diving in one direction, springing up, heading over the other way, and diving at the end of that little dash to third base. Now that's another error for the Reds. And a low throw by Dickerson. His first, and it's Hunter Pence. 300 batting average, 3 homers, 6 runs batted in.
And Miggy's very good at inducing errors today.
There's strike one to Hunter. He's hit safely in 8 of his last 10 games. 324, 2 for 7 with an RBI on this homestand. He homered last year off Volquez, but JD gave you the excellent numbers Volquez had against the Astros, a 1.32 ERA in those 2 Minute Maid Park starts. Grounded, and Encarnacion plays it to second for the third out. No runs, no hits, 2 errors, and 2 left, and it's no score after 1.
Now, that's courtesy of Waste Management. And if you ride Metro to the game, you're going to receive a half-price ticket. Information and tickets available at astros.com/playgreen.
That works. Encarnacion just took strike one, leading off the second inning. And now it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count to a 172 hitter with 1 homer and 4 runs batted in. Encarnacion has drawn 10 walks.
That's kind of the slogan around the Reds this year: patience at the plate, trying to be more disciplined.
Ooh. That's serious. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Good looking pitch. Got him to chase. Encarnacion 1 for 5 in this series with a couple of walks.
Yeah, that's more of a slogan like in the clubhouse with a hitting coach. It probably wouldn't sell well with the marketing department. Reds baseball, we're going to walk more this year.
Strike 3 looking. We're going to walk our way to a division title. That's Nix will follow.
And Paulino just carved up Encarnacion. Boy, did he make good pitches throughout that at bat.
Second strikeout now, and Nix had a rough night last night. He's 0 for 4 in the series. 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts in last night's game. He gets a first pitch breaking ball, and it works for strike one. Nix has had 10 at bats with 2 hits and RBI. Jay Bruce continues to be out of the lineup with a sore right hand. He was hit by a pitch on Monday in Milwaukee from Giovanni Gallardo, and he was scratched from the lineup last night, which gave Nix an opportunity to start. 0-2 now. Nix making his first start of the season last night, gets a chance for back-to-back opportunities.
Tough assignment for these Reds hitters today. I haven't had much of a look at Paulino, some of them probably in the minor leagues, but not much of a book on him, and he's got great stuff this afternoon.
That's a fly ball to left center on a line. Michael Bourne closing on it. It gets by him, though. And now Carlos Lee has to go to the warning track to pick it up on a double by Nix. At first it looked as if maybe Bourne would make that type of attempt that Willie Taveras made to rob him. But that ball stayed down and got by him for a double.
Yeah, off the left-handed bat, it's going to have some slice moving towards left field. You see the inside-out swing. This ball's got a lot of action on it. Good hustle by Carlos to come over and back up.
That's hit number 2 for Cincinnati. Nix picking up his 3rd double. And now it's Ramon Hernandez. He had the big game-winning 2-run homer in the 9th Friday night, as the Reds won that one 2-1. Ball 1, and Quintero will go out for a visit. Hernandez hitting the deep drive to right field off Jose Valverde, and then the Astros bouncing back with a 7-0 win last night. A gem of a game by Wandy Rodriguez, Chris Sampson, Jeff Fulcino, a combined 2-hitter. The Reds getting only 2 singles last night. Hernandez 179 with 1 homer.
It's a good day for Wandy today. This is a bask in the glory of that effort kind of day.
And a nice day for Pudge to take off too. He really worked well with Wandy last night. 2 balls, no strikes.
And Wandy will probably have to throw a bullpen tomorrow. Start thinking about his next start. But today it's just, man, was I good last night?
About as good as anybody's seen him. 2 balls and a strike. He really had everything working. Paulino just was promoted onto the 25-man roster today after the game last night. Reliever Alberto Arias was optioned back to Round Rock. He had not pitched since arriving in Pittsburgh with the club. And certainly has every chance to be in the mix later on this season, but the Astros determined that Jeff Fulcino, who pitched last night, would stay, and Arias would go back, and he will return to the rotation at Round Rock. Brandon Backey continues to progress. Ryan Moeller has been fitted with a brace on his right knee, and that will allow him to throw a bullpen on Tuesday. And Doug Brocail is throwing again now in the bullpen. So it's a good progress report. And also Jeff Keppinger said that his back feels much, much better today.
That's good because a bunch of lefties coming up from the Dodgers. It'd be nice to have Keppinger available.
3 in a row starting Tuesday night with that opener, and Clayton Kershaw fouled away. We'll see former Astro Randy Wolf in that series, and another lefty is Eric Stultz. There's Arroyo and Hampton in the concluding game of this series tomorrow night. Then it's Kershaw and Ortiz, Stultz and Oswalt taking you through Wednesday, and then Wolf will go Thursday night.
Dodgers only visit in 09.
And they are torrid right now. Strike 3 on a breaking ball. Hernandez caught looking. Paulino dropping one on him for his 3rd strikeout.
It's interesting, for the first hitter or so of this ball game, Felipe Paulino looked very much like a minor league kid who's just throwing, just humping it up there as hard as he can without a real good idea of what he's doing. Since then, he has really pitched well, locating the fastball, mixing in the breaking pitch. Seems to have really settled in.
Alex Gonzalez 1 for 7 in this series. Comes up with an .077 average, no homers and 1 RBI. Pitcher Volquez on deck. Oh, there's a cross up.
Yeah.
That one almost could have really inflicted some damage on home plate umpire Paul Schreiber. Q hadn't caught it.
And when you're looking for a breaking pitch and the guy throws a 96-mile-an-hour heater,
ouch.
Yeah, it probably may have caused him to strike too.
Yeah. I guarantee you Paul Schreiber is thanking him right now for reacting that way.
Yeah, that might have been a broken forearm right there.
Oh, that would have been ugly. Even a chest protector does not dull the whole pain of catching that one. And it's high with a 2-0 count. And ideally, pitcher would like to go after this number 8 hitter, get him for the final out in the inning, so the pitcher leads off the next inning. But 2-0 now.
Yeah, I think stay aggressive here.
2-1.
Alex Gonzalez, he's hitting 077. You know, he's got some pop, so you got to be a little fearful or respectful of him. But this early in the ball game, you don't want to start pitching around people.
Oh, we got him to chase, and it's 2-2. Well, if the breaking pitch starts from that nice high arm slot, close to where the fastball is, sometimes that will really help.
And I think Gonzalez, too, with 2 outs and the pitcher on deck, is thinking, well, I've got to be willing to expand my strike zone to try to drive that run in.
Yeah.
Within reason.
Now 3 balls, 2 strikes. That one was clocked at 98.
He's reached triple digits. Not here today, but in the past.
Astros had thought at one point last year about using him in the back end of the bullpen. And a curveball gets a strikeout. He looks fine as a starter. He has struck out 4. Striking out the side in the second. There's no score. They've seen a 0-0 game so far through 1.5. Right sun today. Jeff Blum had a good game for the fans who were here last night. Put together a 3-game hitting streak now. And he dances as ball 1 comes down and in. 324 for Jeff. No homers, 3 runs batted in. He drove in those 3 last night, going 3 for 4. Had the 2-run double in the 7th inning to really boost the Astros lead from 3-0 to 5-0. He's taking there, and the count runs to 2-0. Jason Smith and Humberto Quintero to follow. The Astros remain last in the league in runs scored with 34. But they've won 3 of their last 4 now. They're 4-7. It's 3-0.
I don't think Volquez could throw the ball straight if he wanted to. He has tremendous movement. That's a 2-0 fastball. He's just trying to throw over the heart of the plate, and it just dives out of the zone.
3-1 to Jeff Blum. The last time before last night he had 3 hits or more and 3 RBIs or more was August 23rd of 06 when he was with the Padres playing against the Dodgers. Hit foul near the first base bag. 3-2. The Astros have scored 3 runs or less 7 times in 11 games. They're 1-6 in those 7. Offense showing signs last night. That was their best game with 7 runs on 13 hits, including a 4-run inning. The 7th was their best, and a changeup gets a strikeout for Volquez. Our Jack in the Box standings today shows you the Astros minor league report. What's going on in the farm? J.R. Tolles is hitting .370 at Round Rock. 16 runs batted in already. Yordany Ramirez is just a spectacular outfielder, and he's hitting .345. Andrew Locke at .355 at Corpus. Sergio Perez 2-0 with an ERA at 0.82 for Corpus. And that's Jack in the Box standings for Sunday. We show you the Astros minor leagues every Sunday. Smith has an RBI, but he's looking for his first hit as an Astro. 0 for 14. He started back-to-back games at second. 0 for 8 in the series. Quintero's on deck. He gets a hook, and it's 1-1. Jason hit a ball well last night in the second inning, but Brandon Phillips made an excellent play on him. Changeup takes it to 1-2.
Changeup is nasty. Baseball America at the end of the season last year, they put out their best tools issue, and they rank all the different players. And Volquez rated with the 3rd best fastball in the National League and the 3rd best changeup.
That's the changeup again, and he gets a strikeout with it. 2 in a row.
How can they have a better changeup than that? Well, they claim that Cole Hamels and Ben Sheets do, and they do have dandies. Of course, that changeup's made a little bit better when you can rush the heater up there at 95 miles an hour.
Humberto Quintero is 0 for 4 with the Astros, making start number 2 of the season. He takes ball 1. Felipe Paulino is on deck. Edinson Volquez won the Johnny Vandermeer Award as the Reds' best pitcher last year. Johnny Vandermeer, way back in the 30s, pitched back-to-back no-hitters. The only major leaguer to do that.
Well, a couple of years prior, he won the Nolan Ryan Award as the best pitcher, best minor league pitcher in the Rangers system.
That's some nice hardware. Votto comes over and hits on the top of the Astros dugout. Kicks up in the sixth.
That's a nice Sunday hop for that guy. Didn't have to work hard. Well, it's a good day at home, folks. Put your TV out back, fire up the grill, maybe get a little crawfish going.
Crawfish sounds good.
Yeah, forget those household projects. Don't worry about cleaning the gutters. It's just taking a ball game. A couple brats, cold beverage.
Grounded to Votto. A toss to Volquez. And in the second, the Astros go down in order. After 2, there's no score.
Felipe.
There's no score here. Top of the third, a moment away. Our power play is brought to you by Reliant Energy. Here's some power pitching. As Felipe Paulino has joined the Astros rotation, and he has set up his breaking stuff well with a fastball that's been up around 98 miles per hour. He's had the Reds chasing a little bit, and he has struck out 4 so far. He struck out the side there in the second inning.
Well, Wandy punched out 10 yesterday in 7 innings. And now Paulino off to such a great start here this afternoon. What a pitching duel we got going here. Both these guys with great stuff.
2 good young hurlers squaring off. Volquez taking, and there's strike 1 to him. He is 0 for 4 at the plate. No balls and 2 strikes. Four-game wraparound series winds up tomorrow night at 7:05, 1-2. It's Mike Hampton. He's 1-1, and Bronson Arroyo. His record is 2-0 tomorrow night at 7:05. Fastball, and that's strikeout number 5. Coming up later in our Dodge Grab Life feature, Chris Sampson has a motto. Stay tuned to hear what it is. Willie Taveras opened the game with a single. Sharp ground ball hit up the middle. Advanced as far as second base. The Reds had the first 2 men on base. And Paulino went to work. Strikeout and a double play ball. Paulino falls behind 1-0 to Willie T, who has walked 5 times this year, even though he has a .250 batting average. His on base average is .382. The Reds would love to see him have an on base average in that neighborhood this year. He started. Did he go? No. On appeal to Paul Nauert. It's a check swing. It's 2-1. Willie T had a .308 on base average last year. Career .331 as a major leaguer. Whoa. Jackknifes on that one. Had to jump high to avoid it. 3-1 the count.
Well, you know, he hit Dickerson with that one fastball and missing inside here. Now, you know, when you throw 97 and you're a bit of an unknown commodity, that can work in your favor a little bit. Hitters aren't going to be real comfortable in that batter's box.
Strike to Taveras. 3-2. Willie T said this spring he'd like to steal 100 bases this year. Stole 68 last year to lead the league. He's 3 for 3 so far this season.
Well, he's going to have to get on base a whole lot.
Yeah.
And that hasn't been done since Vince Coleman, right?
I think you're right. Fly ball behind second. Looks like a hit. Michael Bourne laying out for it, and he held on. Difficult play to the backhand side. He maintained possession, and the fans love that Michael Bourne play.
Now you get a good look at it here. And a nice break. That's sometimes a difficult ball to read, but he was playing over in right center a little bit, so an advantage there as he had an angle on that one and a great jump. Nice play.
He really tucked it away well.
Yeah, lean.
Paulino appreciated that. Excellent support. Chris Dickerson, the batter.
Mark Friedrich probably would have ran out to center field and shook his hand.
Yeah. Oh, he really came a long way on that one. It's so difficult to grab it like he did to the backhand side. And a lot of times the ball will roll out of the glove as the fielder tumbles over. 2 balls, no strikes. Paulino's thrown 47 pitches. 2-1. He threw 108 on Tuesday, so he's right up to speed. Astros don't have to worry about babying him in this game. Good movement there, but it took it out of the zone, and it's 3-1.
Got to be careful with the body language. He wanted the call there. Well, Milo lit up the blue star for that play from Michael Bourne.
There's the that's a brand new blue star he got. Three balls and 2 strikes. Willie Taveras, 27 years old now. What a steal he was when the Astros got him from Cleveland, along with Luke Scott for Jeremy Robertson. And there is a strikeout. Yes, Dickerson strikes out to end the third for the Reds. That's number 6 for Paulino, and it's no score after 2.5.
Courtesy of Methodist Transplant Center. And stick around after the game for a fireworks show presented by Marathon Oil Corporation, weather permitting. For more information, visit Astros.com or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. And guys, yesterday I went high above Minute Maid Park on the train. Today I'm even higher atop of Union Station on this glorious day. It's Jason Tyndall's 33rd birthday up here celebrating. How cool is this to be up here for you today? Happy birthday.
Thank you so much. Couldn't have asked for a better day. We got a great game going. Hopefully Paulino will keep it up, and we'll come out here with a W.
Well, for your birthday, you've been selected as our progressive fan of the game, and your mom's over there telling me that you're really not 33, you're 34. What is it there, Jason?
She ratted me out, that little devil. 34 today, and
he's like a ball player, lying about his age.
You told me you're a season ticket holder. Usually you're sitting down the first baseline. The difference in seats, and how enjoyable is it for you to have a little change of pace up here?
It's awesome. Obviously I can't have a party with 30 of my best friends down there in my seat, so this was a great idea. I actually recommend it for any of the Astro fans that want to have a party up here. There's obviously a chance that you've got to take with the weather issues, but I was extremely lucky today to have a beautiful day.
Yes, no chances here. It is gorgeous up here. I encourage anybody, come on out. This is just an awesome place to watch a game. Jason, happy birthday and congratulations, our progressive fan of the game. Guys?
You're not afraid of heights after being on the train last night and then on the roof. Looking down into the stadium.
I think Jason should have gotten a kite for his birthday. Fly a kite right off of that roof.
Be fun.
Yeah.
We haven't seen that yet. Michael Bourne has an 0-2 count. He lined out to center to a diving Willie Taveras earlier. Michael leading off for the 5th straight game in the absence of Kazuo Matsui. He's batting number 8 when the season started. He had built a 6-game hitting streak. Taveras is over in left center. It's 2-2. So Michael swung at the first pitch, first time up. Now he's seen 4 pitches this time.
Well, the one thing we know is that Volquez will throw that changeup at any count. So you can't, regardless of the count, cheat fastball. And I guess you can, but you can't count on getting one. It might look silly if you're out in front of that change.
Nailed into left center field. Oh, it's a nice swing. Michael Bourne doing a lot of those things in the early season.
Yeah, he's had a number of hard outs too. For the most part, his at bats have been very good. That was a great one there. And because of the changeup, you got to stay back. That's really what they've been working on with him anyway, is stay inside the ball and hit it hard the other way, and that's exactly what he does. That approach there is really going to serve him well.
Now Miggy Tejada, he reached on the error by the pitcher Volquez in the first inning. Advanced as far as third. Toby Keith, his favorite country singer. A little of the strains of a Toby Keith song played as he gets in the box. Line drive, left center field. Looks like a gapper. That will shoot and go off the wall. Michael Bourne around third. He is racing home. No throw to the plate. It's 1-0 Astros as Tejada rips one off the wall in left center.
And Miggy pulled up short. I don't know if he's hurt. And something caused him to slam on the brakes over there at first base. And now out and take a look. Good swing there. Ball really carrying well this afternoon. A great read by Bourne. He sees it off the bat. Nobody's going to get to it. And he was off to the races, allowing him to score easily. We'll take a look at Miggy here and see what happens. Well, let's watch Michael first.
That's some extreme speed.
Tejada apparently okay. Maybe he missed the base and had to come back. Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Watching the ball, and then his footwork wasn't quite right to hit the bag, so nothing wrong with Tejada. It's a long RBI single.
That's a good one to kind of pretend something hurts after you do that. Puma will tell you all about that. Got caught looking at the ball, or Lance when he forgot how many outs there were, and all of a sudden he pretended he had something in his eye.
He's honest.
That's a good veteran move, Miggy. Pretending your hamstring's a little tight.
Miggy now with a 6-game hitting streak. That's his first RBI of the year. And the count is 1 ball, 1 strike. So Miggy breaks the RBI drought. This is the longest drought he's had to open the season. 11 games without an RBI in his career. Berkman drew a walk in the first after working the count full. Grounder throw into right field. Tejada takes a look. Fielded cleanly by Lance Nix. Berkman with a single. 3 straight hits for the Astros. Let's have some Aflac trivia.
Aflac!
Manny Ramirez hit his 54th multi-home run game yesterday. Name the only active player with more.
Well,
A-Rod,
Gary Sheffield,
Griffey,
Dale Jr.
We'll just take the guys with the most home runs.
I'll go with that. I like Jr.
Okay. Carlos Lee hit a fly ball to left in the first. Hunter Pence on deck. Lopez up and in, ball 1. Astros beat Aaron Harang last night on Wandy Rodriguez gem 7-0. Harang trying to rebound from a rough year. He took an ERA of 0.64 into that game last night. And it's Bronson Arroyo tomorrow night.
Harang threw the ball well last night. Just up against a guy who was really on top of his game in
Yes.
Wandy.
RBI number 1100 in the career of Miguel Tejada. He's third on the all-time home run list for shortstops with 268. 1,100 runs batted in. 3-0.
Who's 1 and 2? Ripken, and
We're going to have to check. Yeah, Ripken.
A-Rod
Don't know.
how many he hit as a shortstop.
Not sure about how many
Probably,
A-Rod had as a shortstop. 3 balls, no strikes. And it's ball 4 to load the sacks. That's the second walk for Volquez. Hunter Pence gets an at bat with the bases loaded.
And that was I don't have a clue, walk there. I mean, really misfiring.
Encarnacion comes over for a word. Pence bounced into a force play with 2 men on to end the first. The Astros as a team 2 for 6 with the bases loaded. Hunter 276 in his career, a couple of grand slams, and he is 0 for 2 so far this season. Gonzalez and Phillips playing it for a double play. What a nice Sunday hat.
Nice lid there. Yeah.
Popped up.
Hey, make a play.
Dropped it, and it went to the section below him. That's definitely an error.
We won't signal out who did it.
The guy in the orange shirt
to say that guy right there. Yeah, he should have put the shades on.
You might only get one of those in a lifetime. That's the tough part about a play like that. 1 ball and 1 strike.
This might be the best seats in the house.
Yeah, and
I love those seats.
He's in the first row, so the ball dropped down to the seats below him. Jeff Blum on deck.
Big chance here for Hunter.
And chases one. 1 and 2.
Got to be patient against Volquez.
That's a power sinker at 94. Another rough day for the Yankees so far at New Yankee Stadium. Cleveland leading them 3-1, bottom of the 6th inning.
Don't hang it.
And Carl Pavano is pitching against the Yankees. 2 and 2. Shin-Soo Choo hit his 3rd homer. Ryan Garco #1 for the Tribe. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Hunter Pence. Willie Taveras over in right center field. Inside for ball 3. That one almost hit him. Full count now.
Volquez is a tough guy to gauge because he's been all over the place. His stuff is so good, he's tough to hit. And here, you guys just kind of stay back, be real quick to the ball, trust your hands. No guarantee you're going to get a strike here on 3-2.
Struck him out with a changeup. Strikeout number 4.
Yeah, let's take a look at this at bat pitch by pitch and see how much time Volquez actually spends in the strike zone. There he did. He got away with a hanging changeup. But after that, fastball down and away out of the zone. Sinker out of the zone. Slider out of the zone. Fastball or not, it was a changeup that drifted way in and then a changeup down. That was a good pitch. But, you learn something there about Volquez's approach. Even with the bases loaded, in jeopardy of walking in a run, he's not going to give in. A good 3-2 changeup.
Now it's Jeff Blum. He struck out on a 3-2 count in the 2nd inning. No grand slams in his career. .222 hitter with the bases full.
By golly, he's due to hit a grand slam.
Fly ball on the infield, and Encarnacion's there. So the Astros had promise of a big inning. They are turned away after 1 run on 3 hits and leave 3. It's 1-0 Houston after 3. active player with more multi-home run games than Manny Ramirez, who has 54. Is it Griffey? It is with 55.
Man, we are hot. We're hitting at least 750.
We have never ever really done that well. Athletic trivia. Joey Votto leads it off in the 4th inning, 1-0 Astros. He struck out in the 1st. And that was a turning point for Felipe Paulino. He had given up a single to Taveras, and he had hit Dickerson with a pitch. Ball 1 to Votto. 6 strikeouts so far. 2-0. The Reds have trailed in 9 of their 11 games, but they are 5-5. Towering pop. Carlos Lee over by the line. Wynn taking it. He's still pursuing and hangs on after a long run. 1 out.
Long way to go for Carlos, who plays deep in this ballpark. A lot of times he's pinned back there by the warning track, so we had a long way to go on this one. The ball continuing to drift away from him, and he didn't call it until he was sure he could get it, and then you saw the mouth open. That didn't take a big deep breath.
Could have been it too after that long run. Brandon Phillips grounded into a 4-6-3 double play in the 1st inning. Comes up empty on that one. Strike 1 on a 1st pitch breaking ball. He loves the 1st pitch fastballs. So a pitcher can play off of that sometimes. Try to make it look like a fastball. One ball and 1 strike to the 27-year-old Phillips from Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yeah, when you see a hitter take that kind of a hack on a 1st pitch, he's just guessing heater.
Roll to Tejada. 2 outs. This has been some kind of run of starting pitching for the Astros. Paulino puts up another 0 here. That would be 17 consecutive scoreless innings pitched by the starters in the last 4 games, and going back to the finish of Russ Ortiz's game in Pittsburgh, that would be 19 2/3 consecutive by the starting pitchers. There's ball 1 to Encarnacion. Two balls, no strikes. Astros have had 6 quality starts of their 11 games, but they're only 3-3 in those 6 games because the offense has not matched up well with the pitching so far.
Paulino dropping a little 2-0 slider in there.
Yeah. And he's really pitching, and that was the report on him. How well he was mixing speeds, mixing everything together at Round Rock. And the fastball sets up so much better. 2 balls, 2 strikes when the other pitches are in play. And on the breaking pitch, it's fouled. Still a 2-2 count to Encarnacion.
Just gets a piece. That's a dandy of a pitch. Got him set up if he wants to go hard in here with the 2-seam fastball. Going back away. They got him reaching for that slider now. So you think he'd be vulnerable to the fastball in if you can get it in there.
When Paulino won at Cincinnati in September of 07, he trailed 5-1. But the Astros came back with run support, and he got his first major league win, 8-5, despite giving up 8 hits and 5 runs in 5 innings. Foul back, still 2-2. Encarnacion staying alive. And it would be quite something, though, if this 25-year-old right-hander can deliver when called upon this season. Give the Astros that dash of youth in the rotation. Desserts are very good out there. You got a chance to sample them. His variance of 75 to 97 miles per hour today is impressive. 3-2 to Encarnacion. Next pitch will be the 9th pitch he has seen in this at bat. And it's ball 4. 2-out walk. That's the first walk of the day. Nix, who doubled to left center, comes up. Nix, a .379 career hitter against the Astros coming into this game from his days with the Rangers. Fouls it back, strike 1.
Q hasn't tried to pick anybody off yet today.
Well, it's
got a
about
left-handed
time.
batter up there. See if he calls for an inside fastball.
And he could whip a throw around the batter down to first base.
Change up.
Out into right center field. Bourne was shading to left center. Here's Encarnacion headed for third base as the throw comes in. Though Nix is 2 for 2 in this game, and now Hernandez has a shot with 2 men on and 2 outs. Last time up, Nix hit the double to left center. This time out in front a little bit. We'll see the swing.
Yeah, he's mixing in more changeups now, and with Encarnacion, he missed with a couple, and here he misses in a bad spot up over the plate. Pretty easy pitch for Nix to get to.
Ramon Hernandez struck out looking back in the second inning.
Go back to that fastball power slider game here with the righty Hernandez up.
Alex Gonzalez on deck.
There you go. Good fastball hitter, handles the ball up well. He's got to be careful. We learned that in the opener of this series Friday when he picked on Jose Valverde. Heater incoming here. Get it in there.
It works for strike 2.
Here's Friday night. Fastball up and away, and he just lines it just over the wall in right field. Should be the game winner. A little more depth in that Reds lineup. A little more power at the bottom of the order this year than the past couple of seasons.
Brewers lead the Mets 3-1 in the top of the 7th at Citi Field. It's Jeff Suppan against Nelson Figueroa. Slow bouncer. Berkman will take it, and that's the 3rd out. No runs, a hit. 2 men stranded. 1-0 Houston in the 4th. really swollen by all the rain we've had in downtown Houston. Some kayakers out. Right here, a chance to soak up the rays, and it is one great opportunity to do that.
Well, great time of the year to come to the ballpark. Beautiful weather, roof pulled back. Enjoy it while it lasts. It's going to start to get hot.
Jason Smith leads it off, 1-0 Astros, bottom of the 4th inning. He struck out against Edinson Volquez back in the 2nd inning. Then it's Quintero and Paulino to follow.
Bayou reminded me of Willy Wonka.
Really?
Like a chocolate river there.
It did look chocolate. Those chocolate fountains are big trouble for people at receptions, parties.
Big chocolate guy, Brownie.
Yeah. Stand there forever. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Where's Brownie? Is he at the bar? No, he's over at the chocolate fountain.
Love those desserts. Death by chocolate. That pretty much puts it where it is. Volquez tying his shoe.
All right, Jason, how now? Let's get a knock. Here we go.
The Nationals lead the Marlins 3-1. Marlins are 10-1. The Nationals are 1-9.
Well, a lot of good pitching yesterday and again today. A lot of zeros going up on the out-of-town scoreboard. Padres off to a great start. They're beating the Phils 4-0. They're 9-3.
Atlanta shutting out Pittsburgh 6-0. San Diego, you're right, looking strong there at Philly against CIN AT HOU Park. Bradledge got a blown save yesterday, but they still gave him a standing ovation after the inning.
He built up a lot of goodwill there.
Yeah,
being perfect in save situations last year and being on the hill for the final out in the World Series.
That'll buy you some time.
Yeah.
He had the 3rd longest consecutive save streak in history.
It'll buy you some time, even in Philadelphia. Bob Uecker said they boo airport landings.
Yeah. All things considered, you'd rather not blow a save in Philadelphia than some other city, but that's quite a run. 47 in a row for Brad. Chris Volstad started for the Marlins. He left after 4 1/3. Daniel Cabrera, the starter for the Nationals today at Washington. 3-1 Nationals. And a fastball gets a strikeout. That's number 5 for Volquez.
You're thinking about that changeup, and you're telling yourself, stay back, and then he steams that heater by you.
Humberto Quintero is next. He grounded out. Votto to the pitcher covering. Paulino comes out to the on-deck circle. First pitch breaking ball goes for ball 1 to Q. Of course, Q is in that difficult spot of not having played very much. He had only 4 at-bats coming into this game. Broken bat up the middle, fielded by Phillips. 2 outs.
Well, the Chick-fil-A Cows, they're here again today. Take a look in the outfield. Anytime an Astro player hits one of the Chick-fil-A foul poles, fans from the game can take their ticket stub to any greater Houston area Chick-fil-A for a free chicken sandwich. Bumblebee.
Flight of the Bumblebee. Felipe Paulino 0 for 7 as a major league hitter. Michael Bourne's on deck as he bats here with a 1-0 lead.
Goat Boy threw out a first pitch here today at the ballpark.
Goat Boy?
Yeah, Jim Brewer, who stand-up comic, is in town, and he used to be Goat Boy on Saturday Night Live.
Okay. How'd he do?
Well, he was a good Goat Boy. Oh, how did you do the first pitch?
Yeah.
He was fine there, too.
Okay. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I think that was really the glory days of SNL, but
that's fouled into the Astros dugout almost, except for that railing. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Felipe Paulino. gets a shot here after 2 excellent starts with the Round Rock Express. It's going very well for him so far. Volquez has thrown 65 pitches, 39 have been strikes. Bouncer foul. Keeps the count at 1 ball, 2 strikes. This is a 10-game road trip for the Reds. They go to Chicago next after the finale of the series tomorrow night. Reds are 4-3 against the clubs in the National League Central. They really caught it against the NL Central teams last year. 2 balls and 2 strikes. They were 31-47. Drops it into right field. No throw to first. First major league hit for Paulino.
This kid's having a day. Outstanding performance on the hill. First major league knock off a tough guy like Volquez.
Gets Michael Bourne to the plate. Paulino will have a little trophy for later on. Bourne line to left field. Willie Taveras laying out to rob him, and then he singled to center and scored in the 3rd inning. Third baseman Encarnacion's on the grass. Michael looks at ball 1. Blue Jays are 9-4. They lead the Athletics 1-0 now in the top of the 9th inning at Toronto. Ricky Romero started that game. He went 7. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tight 1-0 game. The Astros nursed that 1-0 lead for a few innings Friday night, only to lose in the ninth 2-1. They had scored in the 5th. They only got 4 hits Friday night.
Ooh, didn't have to be.
1-2. Body language.
Yeah, I feel your pain, Michael. That appeared to be low.
Yeah, just looking at where the catcher received the ball. You have to wonder if it ever got to home plate above the knees. There is a strikeout to end the Astros' 4th inning. Strikeout number 6 for Volquez. He matches the total of Paulino through 4. It's 1-0 Houston.
Join us this week for a complete look at the Big 12 Conference on the baseball and softball diamonds, spring football, all the spring sports. Everything you need to know about the Big 12 is on Big 12 Showcase, Wednesday, 6 o'clock, only on Fox Sports Houston.
1-0 lead for Felipe Paulino. Since Thursday at Pittsburgh, the Astros starters have combined for 19 2/3 consecutive scoreless innings, starting with the final couple of innings for Russ Ortiz in his start. And then carrying on through Mike Hampton and Roy Oswalt and Wandy Rodriguez. It's been a fabulous run for the Astros starters. Gonzalez leading it off, and he takes ball one. Number 8 hitter struck out in the second inning. Astros in the last 4 games have a staff ERA of 1.50. Fly ball. Michael Bourne back in right center. Pretty deep drive by Gonzalez. 1 out. Bourne tracked it down. Now Volquez will be coming up. Volquez struck out in the 3rd inning. John Lester has a beauty going for Boston. A 2-0 lead for the Red Sox at Fenway over the Baltimore Orioles and Koji Uehara. They strike one to Volquez. 74 pitches so far for Paulino. 47 of them strikes.
Like the tempo, too. We were getting it after, just boom, boom, boom.
He is attacking the hitters with that kind of a breakdown so far on his pitch count. Showing bunt. Lopez takes, and it's 1-2.
Wouldn't be surprised if Dewey Robinson, Q, or somebody had a chat with him between innings last go around, because he got a little tentative with Encarnacion, worked a little bit more slowly and picked a little bit.
Comebacker. 2 outs.
Next Saturday, first 10,000 fans will receive that blue cap collectible. That's courtesy of AT&T. This cap collectible is the first in a 4-piece set. Tickets start at just $7 for adults, $1 for kids. That means a family of 4 can attend. You do the math for just $16. For more information, visit Astros.com or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
4 people for $16.
That's, yeah.
It's pretty sweet. The Marlins team represented there.
Yeah, a lot of little leaguers here today. Youth leagues marching around the field before the game. It's a Sunday tradition here at Minute Maid Park.
Always fun to see them on the field. Willie Taveras is 1 for 2. There's ball one, and they picked one gorgeous day. Taveras single to center, and then Michael Bourne robbed him of another hit. Both center fielders have robbed each other of hits in this game. Cubs are here. Cubs play tonight, actually, in Chicago. Those Cubs are here, but the real Cubs, so to speak, play at home against St. Louis tonight.
There's the Bronx Bombers. There's some lemonade.
2 balls and 1 strike for Paulino. Padres 4, Phillies 2. Middle of the 7th in Philadelphia. It's 2-2 now. That's Will Gear of Rice University pitching for San Diego. Chan-Ho Park out of the game now. Padres are a team to be learned by many fans. Adrian Gonzalez hit home run number 5. Most people know about him. Chase Utley number 4. The Padres have a different kind of rotation behind Peavy and Young this year. 3-2 the count. And the early season going has been very kind to San Diego with that 9-3 record. The Dodgers have won 7 in a row. Trying to sweep a homestand. There's a 2-out walk to Taveras. And that's number 2 of the game for Paulino.
That's the last guy you want to walk, too, with 2 outs. He could turn that walk into a double with his legs. Suspect he'd be trying to steal the bag here.
Well, Q will probably throw down first base. We'll see. As Dickerson's the batter. Dickerson was hit by a pitch and he struck out.
You got to be careful with Willie. He could bait you, take a big lead, and as you throw to first, he takes off for second.
That's true. Willie is 3 for 3 in steals. He draws a throw from the pitcher.
Obviously, you have to pay attention to Willie Taveras, but you've got 2 outs in an inning. You still feel pretty good about things, so you don't want your concentration to get so distracted with Taveras over there that you make a bad pitch to Dickerson.
Strike one works to try to combat the running game.
Some really good pitchers over the years have not been particularly good at holding base runners. They just didn't want to sacrifice what they were doing with the hitter by paying attention to the runner. Greg Maddux, for one.
Hard throw over to first. The Reds want to do more running this year. They also, in addition to just trying to steal bases and be more efficient than they were, and they were not good last year, they want to put some runners in motion, rely on more of a contact hitting game than wait back for the long ball the way they had been the last few years. They were 8th in the league in steals with 85, but they were successful only 64% of the time last year. That is not a good percentage. Broken bat roller. Jason Smith on over to Lance Berkman. No runs, no hits. A runner stranded. 1-0 Houston after 4.5. Ball game 1-0 Houston. The Astros coming up now in the bottom of the 5th inning as the youngsters chew on some straws and other things. And a nice beverage on an afternoon that's just about perfect. Not too hot, bright, sunny. Got the green caps to ward off the sun. They're all set to watch Miguel Tejada lead it off in the home 5th inning. He's 1 for 2, an RBI single back in the 3rd. Only RBI hit in this game. And the Astros left the bases loaded in that 3rd inning. Tejada backs away, and it's ball 1 for Edinson Volquez. Braves are whipping the Pirates 7-0 in the top of the 7th at Pittsburgh behind Javier Vasquez. Zach Duke gave up 6 earned runs in 6 innings. 2 balls and no strikes. Martin Prado hit a 3-run homer off Duke. That's his first. And David Ross, a 3-run shot off the reliever, Greg Hansen, his first of the year. Astros will be seeing the Braves in Atlanta on their next road trip after going to Cincinnati. Grounder, and the pitcher can't field it. Here's Brandon Phillips making the play on Tejada. 1 out.
Well, the Astros certainly with some opportunities to play add-on in this game. But against a guy like Volquez, it's easier said than done. You look at the numbers. Well, they left 3 guys on in the third, a couple guys on in the first. This guy's one tough customer.
They like Lance a lot. Lance Berkman has done well for them today with a walk and a single to right. Ellis Lee's on deck. Reds do not overshift their infield when Lance bats left the way some teams do. It's ball 1. Deer Park Little League Huskies are here. Two balls and no strikes. The Reds have had 8 consecutive losing seasons with a low winning percentage during the last 8 years of .454. They made the big trade for Ken Griffey in February 2000. Signed him to a 9-year deal. Now he's moved on to Seattle. 2 balls and a strike. Jack McKeon, who was with that club as the manager back then, said we really could have used pitching at the time we signed Griffey. 4 months earlier, he had started Steve Paris against Al Leiter in a 1-game playoff for the wild card. 3-1. But now with this trade for Volquez, they have certainly helped their pitching staff, and he's delivered last year with a big year.
Yeah, they're putting their hopes on a talented starting rotation, a veteran bullpen that should be pretty good at protecting leads, and they're just not sure what they're going to get offensively. Got some interesting pieces. I guess nobody's really sure, but to me, if I were, a Reds fan, that would be my biggest area of concern if we're going to be able to score enough runs.
Flashback to the Reds in the 70s. 6 playoff appearances, 2 World Series titles. And in '90, they grabbed a World Series title. But since '96, they have not won a division title. While the Astros have 9 postseason appearances from '80 through '09. And the National League Championship in '05. The fortunes of baseball, different eras, teams go into different phases of success. It's hard to stay there year after year. Carlos Lee hit a fly ball to left and he walked. Ball 1 under his chin. Walt Jocketty has taken over as the general manager, and that general manager's spot and the manager's position has been a rotating door the last several years with the Reds. Hunter Pence is on deck. Strike makes it 1-1.
Yeah, I think sometimes clubs fire managers and general managers to appease the media or the fans, and I think that's a mistake. I mean, if you feel like you got a good guy in place in either of those jobs, I think you got to be willing to stay with him. Look at the record, the run the Braves have had with Bobby Cox and La Russa in St. Louis.
Exactly. 1-2. Well, Walt Jocketty was a big part of that success in St. Louis, but he now has moved on to Cincinnati. And Ed Wade hooking up on that trade for Jeff Keppinger and Drew Sutton a few days ago. Usually teams within the division don't deal a lot with each other. That wasn't considered to be a blockbuster deal, but it might work well for both teams. Certainly the Astros are thrilled with Keppinger and what he's done, and the Reds didn't seem to be able to fit him into their mix this year. They got a younger player in Sutton who's a AAA for them now. And Keppinger is feeling much better. 7 for 15 with a homer and 2 runs batted in. Game-winning hit in the 10th inning in his first at bat as an Astro. So we should be seeing a lot of him if his back continues to be on the mend.
The only mistake he's made since joining the club really is setting the bar too high. People are going to expect him to hit 400.
Foul ball, and that keeps the count at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Volquez Monday at Milwaukee in the first Reds road game of the year. Won that game 7-6. He pitched 5 innings. Gave up a couple of homers, 6 runs. And with the right run support and bullpen support, he was a winner. The numbers are much better for him so far today through 4 1/3. It's 2-2.
And again, the key against Volquez is just patience. I mean, for a guy with his stuff, he spends very little time in the strike zone.
Now that second full year for a major league pitcher can really be a defining time. After the success he had last year, hitters now have a pretty good bank of information built up on him after just a few starts with Texas before the trade.
Well, they made a pretty good adjustment on him in the second half. He was 10-1 through his first 16 appearances, 12-3 at the All-Star break with a 2.30 ERA. After the break, 5-3 with an ERA of 4.60.
Three and two, 1 out. Workman with a lead. Workman's going, and the pitch is ball 4. Back-to-back walks bring up Hunter Pence now with 1 out.
And just doesn't want a challenge. It's 1-run game. A little gun shy of the strike zone. That's a byproduct sometimes of a lack of run support. But the other thing this does, it really runs the pitch count up. He's got 88 pitches as the Astros bat here in the 5th inning. And with his stuff, you know, you expect him to be one of your horses. If you're Dusty Baker, you want him pitching deep into games.
That's Hunter Pence, 0 for 2. Came up with 2 men on and bounced into a force play in the first. Bases loaded in the third, 1 out. He struck out. Now another chance to bat with men on base. And he, as you took us through that at bat from the 3rd inning, pitch by pitch, Volquez got him to expand his strike zone.
Yeah, and that's the challenge again in this at bat because, you know, Hunter's a very aggressive hitter and he's had a couple of opportunities now to drive in runs and has come up empty. So the tendency for a hitter is to be even more aggressive. I got to make amends for those previous 2 at bats. You got to make sure you get a strike.
Workman and Lee, the base runners, with 1 out. Blum on deck. Strike 1 call for Volquez. Volquez beat Wandy Rodriguez both times last year.
Hunter taking a little extra time here, probably just trying to get inside of Volquez's head, trying to get an idea of where he might go with this next pitch.
Snap throw to first. Carlos Lee slides back in. 1-1 the count. Sometimes catchers like to take that opportunity when they have to come up out of their crouch.
And maybe a design play where you'll call not a pitch out, but just give me a real high fastball so we know that the ball's not going to be put in play, and we've got the first baseman coming in behind the base runner.
That's a good time for it with the runner at second and first.
And Carlos with a huge lead there.
Berkman takes off for third, and it's foul. Yeah, he had a nice jump too. In Carlos's position, he's trying to feed off what Lance is doing. A lot of his tension is geared toward runner at second, so that's why that first baseman sneaking in behind him can be effective.
Yeah, and Carlos obviously took his eye off Lance there, because if he sees Lance break with the big lead that he's got, then he should be going too.
One ball, 2 strikes. Lance 67% successful with 72 steals in his career. Foul back by Hunter Pence to keep the count at 1-2.
And again, they go upstairs with the fastball. See Hernandez coming out of his crouch. a la Yogi Berra.
White Sox are getting a beauty from Gavin Floyd. They lead the Rays 8-0 in the top of the 7th. A game at St. Petersburg. Takes, and it's 2-2 to Hunter. A.J. Brzezinski hit his first home run of the year, a 2-run shot. And 2 balls, 2 strikes. Astros trying to get back to 500 at home. They are 2-3 in this ballpark this year. This is game number 3 of a 10-game homestand. Close one, ball.
That's the pitch Hunter punched down on last time, and he learned a lesson. I'm not going to gear up for that fastball.
Big one coming now. 94 pitches have been thrown by the young right-hander. And it's ball 4 to load the bases. Hunter Pence did some learning earlier, put it to use, and now 3 consecutive walks. So the Reds wondering what's going to happen to Jeff Blum back.
Yeah, Ramon Hernandez probably a little frustrated because he didn't want to go back to the changeup. The way Hunter took the 2-2 changeup, I think Hernandez fairly well convinced that Hunter was seeing that pitch pretty well, and Volquez shook him off twice to get back to the changeup. You could argue that, you know, from Volquez's point of view, that's his best pitch, and he trusts it a lot.
Last grand slam for the Astros, September 10th of 08. Miguel Tejada against the Pirates. Jeff Blum's 0 for 2. Gets his second bases loaded at bat of this game and takes strike 1. He popped the third in the 3rd inning, going for the first pitch after striking out in the 2nd. This will be the 25th pitch of the inning for Volquez. Line drive up the right field line. That's a foul ball. Now 0-2 to Blum. Jeff is 0 for 8 in his career against this pitcher. Jason Smith is on deck. Astros have stranded 6. The Reds have left 5. One ball, 2 strikes.
Wow. Found a little something extra in that heater. 99 miles an hour. And, you know, if you're throwing a lot of strikes, you might get that call, but he's been all over the place. Maybe feels like he's getting squeezed a little bit. Tough to play behind this guy right now. Taking so much time. Infield, you can just tell in their body language. Hands on hips. Guys kind of looking around. Let's go. Let's move this thing along.
Little tap goes to Brandon Phillips. And he tried to tag him and did. He tagged out Hunter Pence for the 2nd out, and that's an out. Hunter now looking at the umpire who called it, and Cecil Cooper's coming over to say, wait a minute, that's a double play, and he didn't think he tagged him.
Yeah, and Joe didn't argue that he was out of the base path. He called him out on a tag. It didn't look like he was going to be able to get there, and Joe looks like he's got a pretty good look at the play. That's not even close.
Well, that's going to hurt the Astros potentially, because instead of a run coming in and runners at 2nd and 3rd, they have no run scoring, and they lead it 1-0. Come on. Joe, didn't he have an angle on that?
No, he got caught. Fell.
I guess don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. If you have a dream, then don't ever think you can't do it, because you can. Set your goals high and work hard and try to attain those goals.
1-0 Astros. Here is Joey Votto. The sixth inning is underway with ball one to him. He is 0 for 2, but Joe West, with that call that Hunter Pence was tagged out by Brandon Phillips, apparently not having a good angle. The Astros arguing to no avail on the 4-3 double play to end the inning. Cost him a run at least, and who knows how many more. Cecil Cooper went out, but the call stands. And the tag was missed, and Hunter Pence did not run out of the baseline to avoid it, which would have gotten an out call as well.
No, that wasn't even close. Joe just got caught inside and had a bad angle. You can see it here. He's looking straight through Hunter towards Phillips. And it just took a guess and he got it wrong.
Oh, it's in the books as a 4-3 double play. Line drive by Votto. Carlos Lee over, and he snags it. One down on a good catch by El Caballo.
One of the better struck balls for the Reds today. As a matter of fact, one of the better struck balls for them the last 2 days. I didn't give up much at all in terms of hard hit balls. That one pretty well hit. I tell you what, Paulino, it's just one game, so we don't want to get carried away, but he's looking like a major league pitcher here today.
Brandon Phillips 0 for 2. Ball one as the Astros bullpen is busy. Paulino's due up third in the bottom half of the inning. Lefty Tim Burdack is at work along with right-hander Jeff Fulcino, who finished the game last night. Fastball makes it 1-1. Both of Carlos Lee's catches in this game have come on Votto. The other one, a running catch just inside the line on a looping fly ball, but Votto that time hit a line drive. 92 pitches so far for Paulino. It's 2-1. And for the Astros, who have had several opportunities, leading only 1-0 here, they would like to add on because of the game that Paulino is pitching. Offensively, just haven't been able to get it done. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Left the bases loaded in the third inning, and then also, like in the third and the fifth, they had the bases loaded with 1 out and left 2 men on. They've stranded 8. The Reds have stranded 5. Line drive. Tejada. Whoa. 2 outs.
A difference in the approach. Edison working out of the zone with all the walks. Paulino being a little bit more aggressive and rewarded with a couple of well-struck balls, but 2 quick outs. Nice play there by Miggy. This ball kind of hooking back the other way on him. Almost overplayed it.
Yep. Quintero went out for a word with Paulino after the Tejada play. Now Encarnacion, 2 for 17 on this Reds road trip. He's 0 for 1 with a walk today. Lance Nix, who has 2 hits of the Reds' 3, is on deck. Strike for Paulino. Paulino trying for his 3rd major league win. Roll to 3rd for Blum. That's a quick 6th for Paulino. Probably his last work. The Astros lead 1-0. Cam showing you Rosen, horizontal. Willie T robbing Michael Bourne in the 1st inning. That's our Coors Light freeze cam showing you fabulous play by Willie Taveras and the Astros' first batter in the game. Now it's 1-0 Houston. Willie T in center field, shading toward left center for Jason Smith, who struck out both times. Bunting, and there's Encarnacion, who was looking for it, taking care of out number 1 on 1 pitch. Astros bullpen has been busy, and Aaron Erstad comes out to the on-deck circle to pitch it for Paulino, with Quintero headed for the batter's box. Astros have 4 hits, 3 of those by the first 3 in the order, the other by the pitcher Paulino. Quintero is 0 for 2 with 2 ground ball outs. 6, 7, and 8 hitters, a combined 0 for 8 without reaching base in this game for Houston. Strike to Quintero.
Well, Volquez certainly with the type of stuff to dominate hitters with the middle of the order. He's just been so tentative, and the Astros have been patient. Berkman drawing a couple of walks, same with Carlos. And Hunter drawing 1 free pass.
Willie T shading to right center. Q hits the ball to right center and right field quite a bit. It's a .211 career hitter against Cincinnati pitching. One hopper back to Volquez. It's an easy second out. Now Erstad, the pinch hitter. What a day for Paulino. Leaving for the pinch hitter now after 6 innings of work. Giving up 3 hits, no runs, walking 2, and failing 6.
He's got to be awfully happy with his effort here this afternoon. The thing that really impressed me is just the old Mike Hargrove word, pitchability. Grover coined that a number of years ago. Just really showed a nice touch out there to go along with that outstanding stuff.
Paulino threw 97 pitches. Curve strike one for Erstad. Erstad 1 for 6 as a pinch hitter, 1 for 4. Just a terrific first Astros start, and actually it's his 3rd straight good start, 2 for Round Rock before arriving here. 61 of the 97 pitches by Paulino went for strikes. Louis Robinson on the bench as Erstad tries to get a rally started. Erstad has the Astros' only pinch hit. Their pinch hitters are 1 for 16 with an RBI. Aaron chases, and it's strike 3, and that ends the 6th inning with K number 7 for Volquez. 1-0 Astros. Houston Astros baseball on Fox Sports Houston is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealer, by Reliant Energy, and by Southwest Airlines. On this gorgeous day, it is quite a delectable ball game as well. These fans have watched in the sun while it's a 1-0 lead for the Astros on a 3rd inning run. A single by Tejada got the run home. And now it's Tim Burdack after 6 excellent innings from Paulino.
Yeah, great work by Felipe Burdack, and then rock solid so far this year. Lefty's 2 out of 10 against him. He's going to get a lefty going to hit for Knicks. Good numbers against the Redlegs last year, and a solid start to 2009.
It is Jerry Hairston Jr. on deck. Pinch hit for Knicks. And it's Hairston coming up against the lefty Burdack to open the 7th inning. Hairston was in the starting lineup last night in left field against the lefty Wandy Rodriguez. He went 1 for 4 in that game. He's a good rally starter type of player. Hairston, who had an excellent season last year for the Reds, checks in at 167 with 3 hits and 18 at bats. Has 1 homer and 2 runs batted in. No at bats as a pinch hitter yet this year. Jeff Geary warming up for Houston. And that's ball 1 for Tim Burdack. Tim pitching 4 times on the Astros road trip, twice in St. Louis, twice in Pittsburgh. His last outing was Thursday, an inning and a 1/3 of scoreless ball. It's 2-0.
Thinking back to that play where Joe West missed the call there on Hunter on the phantom double play. And just prior to that, we talked about the infielders kind of getting stuck back on their heels because of the length of the inning and the way Volquez was working. Same thing probably happened to Joe. Kind of lapsed in concentration and didn't really scramble to get into position to see that play.
Yeah, it can affect everybody that way when the pace slows down. Burdick falls behind now, 3-1. Ramon Hernandez on deck. Now that looms as a very big play in this game. Berkman would have scored had Pence reached second base. There would have been runners at second and third with one out, with Smith batting. 3-2. But that happens in a lot of baseball games. Teams have to deal with it and move on.
And there is no crying in baseball.
No. Arthur Rhodes warming up for the Reds. Burdick pitched well against Cincinnati last year, giving up runs in only one of his 7 outings against them. There's a leadoff walk and the potential tying run on in Hairston. Now Hernandez is 0 for 2. Quintero walking to the mound.
Well, leaving the lefty Burdick in there gives you a better chance at holding Hairston, who's capable of stealing a base. And of course, if you bring Geary in, you've got the right on right platoon advantage with the right-handed hitting Ramon Hernandez.
League Leaders brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. News and notes from around baseball. Brad Lidge, save streak ended. Zach Greinke has a 34-inning consecutive scoreless streak. Manny had his first 2 home run game of the year. Cleveland lit up the Yankees for 22, including 14 in the second inning yesterday. Florida has a Major League Best 10-1 record. Jason Kubel hit for the cycle Friday. Then he came back with 4 more hits yesterday. Brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. And now we have a pitching change with Jeff Geary coming in. And it'll be 1-0 Houston with a runner at first, nobody out in the 7th inning when we return. Margaret Krause with the video showing you a 1-0 ball game. Top of the 7th inning now. Tim Burdick has walked the leadoff man. Hairston the pinch hitter. Now it's Jeff Geary taking over for his 7th appearance. Last year 0-1 in 6 games against the Reds. He's facing Ramon Hernandez, who's 0 for 2.
Now the speedy guy, double play candidate.
Trying to bunt, and it's a fair ball. Here's the throw, and no, it's a foul ball apparently. And the call is foul. Q trying to pounce on it, and he whipped a quick throw down, but it was in the dirt. So the Astros get a break that it wasn't fair, as it turns out.
Yeah, Q came flying out of there. And the ball behind home plate, touched it foul.
Strike one to Hernandez. Gonzalez on deck. Then the pitcher spot due up. It's 1-1 for Jeff Geary. Geary leads the staff in appearances. Throw down to first base from Quintero. Geary worked Friday night, one hitless inning. And Cincinnati's 2-1 win. He had a 1-0 lead at the time, pitching the 7th inning to the bottom of the order. He retired Hernandez and Gonzalez in that inning.
Nice to have a backup catcher like Quintero with such a strong arm, because you don't lose the edge that you gain with Pudge back there in the throwing department.
Tejada and Smith set up to turn a double play. Runner starts and stops. The pitch, a strike on a curveball from Geary. 1-2. Astros bullpen has an ERA of 2.25 the last 6 games. Situation right here in which Geary would love to get a double play ball. Astros have out hit the Reds 4-3. Cincinnati has made both errors in this game. Line into right field. A single getting Hairston to second base, and now Hernandez creates a first and second nobody out situation with his single.
They're trying to go down and in with that two-seam fastball, trying to get it in on his hands, a pitch that a right-handed hitter will hit on the ground a lot, but the pitch was elevated. You see they're trying to go down and in, but it's up, and Hernandez able to lash it into right field. Now let's see how Dusty Baker plays it. Sacrifice moves the go-ahead run into scoring position.
Well, the Astros are looking for a bunt. The Reds getting a pinch hitter out to the on-deck circle.
Micah Owens.
Yeah. Berkman creeping in. Bunted, third base side, and foul. Well, you can certainly understand Dusty Baker's tactics here. Gonzalez hasn't gotten it going yet. He's 0 for 2 in this game. He's hitting .071. He'll be going with Owings, even though a starting pitcher, a very good pinch hitter, next.
He beat the Astros last year. Was it last year, 2 years ago? Hit that home run in Arizona?
It was last year. Off Borkowski, yeah. As a pinch hitter, and he is 1 for 4 this year. He's 1 for 2 as a pinch hitter. The Reds have every confidence in him. Gonzalez takes, snap throw to second, and big play there by Tejada to keep it from going into left center field as he went to the diving effort to stop the ball from going into left center.
Well, we talk about it a lot. The Q really likes to throw to the bases. And with the bunt in order, that base runner at second base is trying to get a good aggressive secondary lead. And the Astros are defending this bunt aggressively, so he can't afford to get forced at third. So when a bunt through, when the hitter bunts through the ball, a guy like Quintero's inclined to take a shot.
Very nice play by Tejada. Paid attendance 29,372 today. Berkman creeping in. Gonzalez bunting to the pitcher. Geary will throw to first, and he throws it away up the right field line. Hairston scoring. Hernandez to third. The game tied 1-1. It's an error on Geary. There seemed to be indecision between Geary and Berkman about who was fielding it.
Well, there's been some bad throws to the bases in this game. Felipe Paulino has a tough hang with him. He's had plenty of time. Just goosed the throw over there.
And now Dewey Robinson out with runners at second and third.
He had all kinds of time to set his feet and make a good throw.
Tie ball game. That takes a win away from Paulino, and it brings up the pinch hitter Micah Owings for Edinson Volquez, who leaves after 6 innings of good work. Volquez allowing 4 hits and 1 run. He walked 5 and he fanned 7. And it's Owings, who came from the Arizona Diamondbacks. He's the 5th starter, but also on days when he doesn't start, available for pinch hitting, and that's what he's doing right now with the infield in. 2nd and 3rd, nobody out.
Yeah, you know, and not just an option off the bench for Dusty Baker, but likely his best option as a pinch hitter. I mean, this guy can flat out rake.
Fly ball, deep left center field. Carlos Lee back. And Owings bangs one off the wall. That'll score 2. He's in with a pinch 2-run double to make it 3-1 Reds.
Boy, sloppy inning after the solid work by Paulino. Got off to a bad start when Bird walked the leadoff man Hairston. He's been used a lot this year. Not sharp here this afternoon. That fastball right down Broadway. Owings just too dangerous of a hitter. Kind of disregard the fact that he's a pitcher and treat him like a real legit hitter.
Owings had a .313 career batting average with 5 homers coming into this season. He drives in a pair. Now Willie Taveras with nobody out and a runner at second. Owings is the only Reds pitcher to get a hit so far this season. Both of his hits have come in pinch hitting roles. His first runs batted into the year. Now a home plate umpire looking at his lineup card. They get a pinch runner for Owings at second base.
Jay Bruce is going to run for Owings. Still nobody out in the inning.
Owings comes off the bench, gives the Reds the lead. Well, Volquez can be a winning pitcher now thanks to his 8th career pinch hit. Taveras has a single and a walk in this game. Showing bunt. He looks at ball 1. Owings was traded last year for Adam Dunn. And he can help the Reds in more ways than just pitching, as he's just demonstrated. Taveras is hit by the pitch. And now Dickerson will come up with runners at first and second and nobody out.
Fastball gets away from Geary, and he's just having one of those days where he's a man of nothing so far.
Now we'll see somebody begin to warm up in the Astros bullpen. Dickerson 0 for 2 after being hit by a pitch. 2 men on here as the Reds lead it by 2, and they're looking to break it open. Astros have the top of the lineup due up in the last of the 7th inning. Jeff Fulcino is warming up for Houston. He was up earlier today. There's ball 1 to Dickerson. The inning started with Burdack walking Hairston, the pinch hitter. Then Hernandez, after trying to bunt and fouling that, single. Gonzalez put down a bunt. It went as a sacrifice and an error on Geary. Pinch 2-run double by Owings. It's 2-0.
Situation where I thought they might have Dickerson bunting. I don't know if he's a capable bunter or not, but now that it's 2-0, probably going to let him take a whack. Looking for something to drive here.
Joey Votto's on deck. 2-1. The Astros had played errorless ball for the last 8 games. Came into this game with the best fielding percentage in the majors. strike, evens the count at 2-2. They have not given up an unearned run in their first 11 games of the year until a few minutes ago. Now a full count to Dickerson. The Reds, who have been stymied through 6 by Paulino, now have found a formula that works for their offense. Dickerson's cousin Eric, great running back in the NFL from SMU, struck him out. 1 out.
Eric never chased that high fastball.
No. That's 1 out. Now Votto. Votto's 0 for 3, a strikeout, 2 fly balls to Carlos Lee. Almost clipped him.
A frustrating afternoon so far for the Astros. Had all those opportunities slip away. Volquez with all the walks. And Astros couldn't cash it in. And it's one thing if another club comes back to get you, but when you kind of open the door for them with the walk and the air, anytime you don't get an out on a bunt play, it seems to come back and bite you.
2 balls, no strikes. Now a tight 1-0 type ball game. Something can really mushroom and turn into a big inning. There's Phillips on deck. And now it's 3-0.
You know, still down just 2 runs. You've got 9 outs to play with. So obviously not a lost cause, but you can't afford to give up much more. And Jeff struggling. Votto a very good hitter. Big pitch coming here. Probably taken all the way, but you can't count on it.
Not taken. Double play ball there. Smith to Tejada to Buckman. And the Astros really needed that. But the Reds earlier came up with 3 runs in the inning on 2 hits. A costly error and a man left. Middle of the 7th inning. It is 3-1 Reds. And now the singing of God Bless America. But their lead was only 1-0. Men left on base really hurt them, and then the Reds seized the opportunity with their action in the top of the inning, including the pinch hit 2-run double by pitcher Micah Owings, driving in 2, and the Astros have left 8. The Reds have stranded 6. Now it's 3-1 Reds with the veteran left-hander Arthur Rhodes coming in. Jerry Hairston Jr. is in right field.
A veteran, boy, that's an understatement. Arthur Rhodes broke in with the Baltimore Orioles back in 1991. This year with the Reds, he's been sterling so far in 4 games. An ERA of 0 for 4 innings.
Michael Bourne facing him. But there's strike 1. Michael 1 for 3 with a run scored. Edinson Volquez threw 104 pitches, 62 of them strikes in 6 innings, giving up 4 hits and a run, walking 5, fanning 7. Rhodes goes to a 1-1 count. The Reds bullpen 1-0 this season with a 5.58 ERA, but as JD showed you, Rhodes' figures are considerably better in the overall relief picture. There's strike 2, and it's a ball and 2 strikes from this 39-year-old southpaw. .718 appearances, 79 wins for Arthur Rhodes.
I think he and Stormy Weathers regale the boys with some war stories out there in that Reds bullpen.
Stormy's over 900 now, I think, on appearances. Firestone in-game box score, bringing you up to date on the happenings of this one. And Stormy just went over 900 appearances earlier this year. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Yeah, those 2 guys, grizzled veterans, have been through just about every kind of situation the young guys would want to hear about. Some they might not want to hear about.
Yeah, and the old guys too. They probably forget that they told them. Tell them the same stories over and over again.
Bouncer first for Votto. Votto gets down, blocks the ball. Oh! Rhodes wasn't there. Votto tossing it, but the pitcher was not at first base. So Bourne just kept on running hard, and he is safe at first. Almost ran into the umpire.
There comes a point as a pitcher where, as you're heading over there, if you think the first baseman is going to take it on his own, you tend to back off to get out of his way. But Votto clanks it. Boy, he has really struggled this series, both in the field and at the plate. Just grounded into a double play in the last inning, and now clanks this ground ball, and maybe the speed of Bourne putting a little extra pressure on causes the mishandle.
Error on Votto, his first of the year.
Everybody seems out of sorts today. Umpire getting in the way there. The lethargic pace of this game's got everybody out of sync just a little bit.
Strike to Miggy Tejada. He's 1 for 3. Has the Astros RBI single back in the 3rd. They've been held to 4 hits. That's a 3rd error for Cincinnati. 2 of them coming in the first inning involving Tejada, but the Astros unable to capitalize on those 2. And they've received 5 walks. 1 ball, 1 strike, and haven't really cashed in on the 5 walks. None of the players who drew a walk had scored in this game for Houston. Lance Berkman on deck as the Astros try to put up a crooked number here, as the Reds did with 3 in the top of the inning. Rhodes deals ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. Last year Arthur was with Seattle and Florida. He pitched 61 times. He struck out 40 in 35 innings last season. So the age has not really cost him on his strikeout pace. He's averaged just a shade under a strikeout per inning for his career. A shot into left field by Tejada. His second hit of the day. Now first and second as the Astros come back for Berkman.
The Reds took advantage of the Astros miscues in the top half. Now a big opportunity for the Astros.
Hernandez out to the mound. Carlos Lee on deck. Big opportunity here for Houston. Berkman batting right-handed, has had some big swings early this season. Walked twice and singled in this game. Both of Lance's home runs have come from the right side. He is 3 for 11 for a .273 average as a right-handed batter this year. Lance 0 for 1 in his career against Rhodes. That was a strikeout. Oh, he had a pitch and fouled at strike one.
Timing was right there, just a little underneath it.
Coming into this game, Rhodes had retired 11 of 13 batters faced, so he's in trouble here. One of the few times this season. 1 ball and 1 strike. Rhodes now breaking a tie for career appearances with David Getty and Jeff Passero is just ahead. Rhodes is signed through next year. Bouncer on one hop. Encarnacion steps on third, throws to first for a double play. And that quiets the crowd on the Reds' second double play of this game.
Yeah, that's a heartbreaker there. Ground ball takes him right to the bag, and fairly easy from there for Encarnacion.
Carlos Lee is 1 for 2 in his career against this pitcher with a home run the last time he faced him.
Arthur Rhodes, he's a Texan. He's from Waco.
Ball 1 to El Caballo, who has a fly ball to left and 2 walks. Hunter Pence is on deck. Rhodes faced the Astros just briefly once last year, 1/3 of an inning. Strike makes it 1-1 with Nick Massett, a right-hander, warming up for Cincinnati. Missing outside, he falls behind El Caballo. 2-1 now. Rhodes had Tommy John surgery and missed all of 07. Been a sturdy setup man from the left side over the years. Off the end of the bat and foul. Joey Votto over, but it gets back into the seats. Yeah, those were supposed to be Cordero.
Rhodes, you know, a smart pitcher. He's been around a long, long time. And he's just staying away from Carlos's power, working primarily away. The base hit here is not going to beat him. He's willing to let Carlos punch one into right field, take his chances over there. He does not want to make a mistake in the inner half. It's not to say he won't come in, but if he does, I'm sure he'll be trying to come in off the plate.
Now it's 3-2. The Yankees rallied and got 3 in the 7th, 3 more in the 8th to overtake Cleveland and win it 7-3. Jorge Posada hit his 3rd home run. 3-2 pitch. He struck him out. And in the 7th inning, it's no runs, a hit, an error, and a man left for Houston after 7. 3-1 Reds.
Top of the 8th. Astros celebrating 10 years here at Minute Maid Park. Help us pick the best moment in our 10-year bracket challenge. Go to Astros.com. Cast your vote today to pick the top moment in Minute Maid Park history.
It's Jeff Fulcino coming in. He is pitcher number 4 for Houston. Warm-up action in the bullpen as we see that jet departing. Fulcino worked the final inning of last night's Astros win. Brandon Phillips 0 for 3. He bunts and it's foul for strike 1. Jeff Geary in 1 inning allowed 2 hits, 2 runs, 1 of them earned with no walks, a strikeout, and a hit batsman. Tim Burdack, no innings, no hits, 1 run with 1 walk and no strikeouts. Fulcino had a scoreless 9th inning yesterday, 0-1 with an 8.22 ERA in the majors.
Jeff with a nice, easy delivery. Looks like he's playing catch out there.
Jeff was born in Titusville, Florida, living now in Fairfield, Connecticut. He was at AAA Omaha most of last season, but made a dozen appearances with the Kansas City Royals. High to center field. Michael Bourne back. 1 out for Fulcino. 29,372 the paid attendance. They've seen the Reds come from behind with 3 in the 7th to take a 3-1 lead. Now here with 1 out in the 8th, it's Edwin Encarnacion. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. Jerry Hairston Jr. on deck. Fulcino was an 8th round draft choice of the Marlins in 01. He gets strike 1. Washington got a run in the bottom of the 8th and takes a 4-3 lead over Florida to the 9th. Cody Ross hit his 3rd for the Fish. 0-2. White Sox drub Tampa Bay 12-2 with homers from A.J. Pierzynski and Carlos Quentin. Quentin is 7th. Also Jim Thome hit number 3, and for the Rays Benjamin Zobrist number 3. Up near the right field line, Hunter Pence tracks it over into foul territory. That was close. Still 0-2 as they get a souvenir.
How close? That close. That's pretty close. Little leaguers are hanging in there.
They are. Multicolored crowd today. All those Little League uniforms. They were in the usual Sunday pregame parade around the warning track. Both clubs have 5 hits. The Reds have committed 3 errors to the Astros 1. Foul to keep the count at 0-2, but the Reds have been able to get away with those errors. The Astros had that one costly one in the 7th. Part of a 3-run inning with one of the runs being unearned. It'll be Pence, Blum, and Smith due up at the bottom of the 8th. And Fulcino gets a strikeout on Encarnacion. 2 down.
Good hard slide ball there. Encarnacion over the years has been a guy willing to expand his strike zone with 2 strikes. Gets a little jumpy.
Now on this picture perfect day, it's Hairston batting. He drew the pinch walk and then came around to score in the 7th. Strike to Hairston. Arizona and San Francisco played 2.5. No score in San Francisco. Randy Johnson going for the Giants today. Kansas City 5, Texas 3, middle of the 5th at Texas. 1-1.
I see where the Rangers called up one of their big phenom prospect pitchers.
Yeah, left-hander Derek Holland.
Yeah. Hearing very good things about him.
Okay. have to watch out, see what he does. Pitching pretty well for them. 2 balls and a strike.
Well, it's a different approach in Arlington these days, different than anywhere in baseball. From what we hear, Nolan Ryan, who's taken over the operations up there, is really emphasizing, or de-emphasizing, I guess I should say, pitch counts. He wants to see pitchers as they come up through their system stay in games longer, learn how to compete, and battle out of jams.
A flare to shallow center. Michael Bourne cannot make the catch on that. It drops in perfectly for Hairston. A 2-out single.
He just can't accept that hit. You got to go back to the dugout and apologize. You're kidding me.
Yeah. Well, been on both times. Here it is.
Just a lob wedge. Perfectly placed. But it'll be interesting to see what happens up there with the Rangers with these young pitchers, and if they're able to change the culture first there, and then to see, you know, in baseball, there's kind of a herd mentality in baseball. If somebody has success doing it, then other clubs are going to follow suit.
True. Well, change the culture is a good way to put it, because it starts in the low minors. And with that kind of a mentality and approach, and then what the organization will allow a pitcher to do in terms of staying in a game. Can't see them really pushing it too hard at A ball until a kid, you know, develops and builds up to pitch the kind of innings they're asking at the major league level now.
Yeah, and I think it's it just becomes a numbers game. It's a percentage play. With all the pitch counts, you protect a greater number of pitchers. Just, you know, if you limit pitch counts, what you don't find out is who's capable of extending, who can be the next Nolan Ryan, or, you know, Don Sutton, or guys that could pitch 300 innings. You know, we'll probably never see that again, but maybe, you know, so we can give you 250 innings a year in and year out for a nice long run. I mean, I'm sure there have been players that have come along in the last decade or so who are capable of doing that, but nobody's been asked to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the ability to identify who can handle the load and who not that's going to be the difference maker.
Can't remember which club, but one club is taking 5 starting rotation spots in A ball and dividing it up among 10 pitchers. So that's one way of looking at more guys, but you know the innings load won't be that much, and a lot of organizations look at a guy who's pitched a lot in high school or college the year before they draft him and say, we need to protect him his first year in pro ball.
Well, that's the other thing. Kids coming up do a lot more throwing through these organized, like, select leagues. They play year-round baseball, so there's more high school surgeries than ever before. But I remember, of course, I'm an old guy. It's been a while, but my very first year in the New York Penn League, I threw 180-some pitches in a game.
Really?
Yeah, 11 innings.
And so there was no big deal about pitch counts?
No, weren't even aware of it. But that was 1982.
They're going. Bouncer goes foul.
And really the only pitch count that we had in place when I was here with the Astros was when Nolan hurt his elbow. And they wanted to limit him to 100 pitches. He was not a happy camper about that.
No.
But they were trying to protect his elbow. And I don't remember a pitch count conversation ever coming up in the clubhouse or one of the other pitchers.
Well, because of the heat in Arlington, it'll be interesting to see how that goes. With Nolan really stressing to the pitchers' conditioning, being able to stay out on the mound longer than they have been. They've had some very, very bad pitching staffs in recent years. That's a tough place to pitch. Possibly the toughest in baseball. All the way, but if it does work and they turn around that pitching, it could really be an interesting team, because they always seem to score runs.
Yeah, they've got a dynamite lineup. That's the one advantage of pitching there. They have plenty of run support.
Pitch out, throw behind him, and safe on a close play at first with Harrison diving back.
Two outs. The Astros figure the Reds might be looking for a little insurance in sending Harrison, so they pitch out, and he has to scramble to get back. Q throws a bullet down there. Looked like he got the back corner of the bag just before the tag was applied.
Yes, it did. really close for Paul Nauert. Nauert was extremely close to the plate. Runner going, big jump, line drive right field. Hunter Pence over with the catch. No runs, 1 hit, 1 stranded. Middle of the 8th inning, 3-1 Reds. Cincinnati bullpen has given up just 1 hit in 4 games, covering 3 1/3 innings. Arthur Rhodes went 1 inning, allowing 1 hit, no runs, no walks, and a strikeout. So this team of Rhodes and Weathers, with all the innings, all the appearances, comes into play in this ball game today.
Yeah, I kind of expect to see Jesse Orozco warming up in the bullpen. Yes, cagey veterans there. Arthur Rhodes, the lefty, David Weathers, the righty, and boy, he's had a real nice run in recent years, setting up for the Reds at times at closing and doing a competent job there.
He was with the Astros briefly in the 04 season. David from Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. And his career against the Astros, 6-3 with a 3.14 ERA, including 6 saves.
I wonder if the rookies refer to them as Mr. Weathers and Mr. Rhodes.
They might.
He too broke in back in '91. David with Toronto.
Hunter Pence is 0 for 2 with a walk and taking strike 1 from Weathers, who sinks the ball quite well. 39 years old, 72 appearances last year for David. And it has been one beautiful afternoon now. Shadow going out toward third base, left field side. 0-2, and JD, boy, it's just been really nice after the rain to observe a clear day like this.
Too bad the baseball hasn't lived up to the weather. Baseball's been a little sloppy, a little ugly here today. But if the home team wins, everybody will go home happy.
Yeah. Chris Sampson and Jose Valverde warming up for Houston. Hunter Pence fouls it away with Jeff Blum, and then Jason Smith due to follow in this inning. Darren Erstad was used as a pinch hitter in the 6th inning. The other guys still available on the bench. The only left-handed bat would be Kazuo Matsui, the switch hitter. Slider from Weathers is ball 1. Last year, Weathers pitched 5 times against the Astros with a 1.69 ERA. David leads all major league pitchers over the last 10 years in appearances. Little tap. Encarnacion barehanding, not in time. And Hunter Pence gets an infield hit. Could have wound up at second or third on an ill-advised throw by the third baseman.
Yeah, that's where your baseball clock has to kick in if you're Encarnacion. With Pence going down the line, you have to realize you got no real shot at him, so just eat it. Votto able to bail him out and pick it. Well, I guess we're even now after the Harrison base hit.
Yeah. Jeff Blum's the batter. He is 1 for 6 in his career against Weathers with an RBI. 0 for 3 in this one. And there's ball 1 to him. With Jason Smith on deck. Trevor Hoffman is the leader in career appearances among active pitchers, even though he's on the disabled list with 930. David a little behind him in appearances. 2 balls, no strikes. David Weathers is only 5 games behind Cy Young now in career appearances. 900 games. A milestone few have reached. Well, he falls behind 3-0 to Jeff Blum. Three balls, 1 strike, and a big pitch coming here as Blummer will hope to see a juicy one. He can whack somewhere hard.
And Weathers is a command pitcher, not a power guy. He's not going to strike many out. He usually keeps the ball down around the knees.
Line shot, but foul. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Reds trying to take the lead in this series, 2-1. The finale is tomorrow night. Mike Hampton and Bronson Arroyo in that matchup tomorrow night at 7:05. Full foul again. Atlanta down Pittsburgh 11-1. Javier Vasquez getting his first win to go 1-1. Zach Duke, the loser, now 2-1. Martin Prado and David Ross hit 3-run homers, each his first of the year. Phillies got 2 in the bottom of the 9th and shaded San Diego 5-4, giving Clay Condrey the win. That's ball 4, and now 2-man on. Nobody out for Jason Smith. Good restraint by Jeff Blum with a runner going on the pitch.
And Jason Michaels comes out to the on-deck circle. So likely Jason Smith will be asked to bunt here and put the Astros in a position where base hit will tie this ball game.
Smith is 0 for 3 in this game. He's 0 for 17 this season. Joey Votto's on the grass, as is Encarnacion at third. The bunt goes toward Encarnacion. He throws to Phillips on the sacrifice. Pence to third, Blum to second, 1 out, and now it's Jason Michaels.
An excellent bunt here by Jason. He'll pull that third baseman in, take that option away. First base, the only play he had.
Jason Michaels takes a few swings. He is 1 for 10 with the Astros. As a pinch hitter, 0 for 5. Pudge Rodriguez comes out to the on-deck circle. Pitcher's spot due up next. Foul for strike 1. Michaels is 3 for 11 in his career against David Weathers.
Reds infield back, as you see. They're not overly concerned with Pence down there at third base. They're worried about the tying run at second. And Jeff Blum.
Snyder doesn't tempt him, and it's 1-1. Michaels last year ranked 3rd among pinch hitters in the National League, and runs batted in with 13.
Now Matsui is going to run for Blum.
Representing the tying run. Matsui's been out for the last 5 games as a starter with a little back problem. Has been feeling better every day with that. He is the pinch runner with the count 1-1. Michaels a career .291 hitter with men on base. It's 1-2. Weathers put that one in a tough spot.
He has such good command of the slider. Reminds me of Larry Anderson back in the day.
He can throw it time after time and pinpoint it. Foul back. Still a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Michaels got a lot of pinch hit appearances last season. Coco Cordero is the Reds closer. Weathers is pitcher number 3. Line drive, speared by Votto. That ball hit hard for right field, but Votto really dampened the Astros' hopes here with that play.
That's just bad break there. I mean, the Astros have come up empty oftentimes today, but Jason Michaels does a real nice job. That's just buzzing the ball. Gets it right on the screws, right at Votto.
Now it's Pudge Rodriguez pinch hitting for the pitcher Fulchino. Fulchino in 1 inning, allowing 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 1 strikeout. Pudge .231 for the season, 1 homer, 4 runs batted in. He's 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter this year. It's ball 1 to him.
Whoever is responsible for positioning the Reds fielders deserves a high five there. Votto was way off the line, but perfectly placed.
Pudge 2 for 6. Both hits doubles in his career against Weathers. Weathers throws so many sliders that the fastball can catch a hitter napping sometimes. It's 2 balls, no strikes. You can jam him if they look outside for that slider. Run it in on him. Michael Bourne is on deck. The appeal goes to first. Whoa, they get a call from Paul Nauert to the dismay of the Astros, and it's 2-1.
Looked like much.
Nope. Looked like he had the hands out in front. Barrel of the bat went under, but it's 2-1. Pudge on a 3-game hitting streak. 2 balls, 2 strikes for Weathers now. Pudge 3 for 8 in this series. Drove in a pair with a double in the 7th inning last night. Fans are hoping he can come through one more time. Trailing 3-1. 2 outs, 2 on in the 8th. And he fouls it. 1 player remaining on the Astros bench among position players, Jeff Keppinger. The Reds have Gonzalez, the pitcher spot, and Taveras due up in the 9th. Now it's a full count.
And staying exclusively away from Pudge here, and Pudge a good off-field hitter. And David not a real hard thrower, so I think if you're Pudge, you got to be looking for that slider away and just try to react if he tries to come in on you. Try to fight it off.
Rodriguez has driven in more than 1,200 runs in his career. Big pitch coming in this game. Foul back. Wasn't so big after all.
Well, you know, when it gets fouled off like that, it's in our minds, it's the same pitch. Yeah. It's just a do-over. A 3-2 do-over. He elevated the fastball there and got away with it.
Minnesota beat the Angels 3-1 behind Glenn Perkins, who got his first win. And a strikeout for Weathers ends the Astros' threat in the 8th. No runs, a hit, 2 men stranded. The 9th inning comes with the Reds leading the Astros 3-1. Michael Bourne in center field in the 3rd inning. Willie Taveras tried to drop one in front of him. Michael coming a long way, then backhanded the ball and held on.
He's only more appreciative than the big right-hander.
Part of a sparkling day for Felipe Paulino. 6 shutout innings. Kazuo Matsui staying in to play second base after pinch running for Jeff Blum. That pushes Jason Smith from second base to third base. And Pudge Rodriguez stays in to do the catching. Meanwhile, it's Chris Sampson on the mound for the 9th.
Well, nobody's going to accuse Cecil Cooper of not using all his resources here this afternoon, emptying the bench. And now one more guy comes out of that pen. It's Chris Sampson, off to a great start in 09. 7 scoreless frames so far. This is second awkward play at first base, covering the bag this year. He hurt his hip earlier, and then last night he took a tumble and tweaked an ankle a little bit.
Alex Gonzalez leads it off in the 9th inning. He's 0 for 2 with a sac bunt, reaching on an error, scoring a run. Strike to Gonzalez. Pitcher spot is due up next. Reds have a pinch hitter on deck. Darnell McDonald. Oh, and 2. Sampson took quite a fall last night on that play in the 8th inning. Chris Dickerson was pinch hitting, and Lance Berkman fielded the grounder and tossed to Chris. He was able to hit the bag and keep possession of the ball, but then he lost his balance and fell hard on the right knee. And he said the ankle was twisted too.
He's made a couple real nice plays here to throw behind him, and he has to reach back for the ball. And able to find the bag, all tangled up.
Little chop to third. Smith coming in, makes the throw on the run to Berkman in time. Well done. 1 out.
Well, it looked like it was going to be a knock, but Jason Smith closed in a hurry. And watch how quickly he got rid of this ball. Just a short arm, quick flip across the diamond, but with plenty on it. I mean, he didn't have to load up to make this throw, and he got a lot on it.
Francisco Cordero warming up for the Reds. Meanwhile, Darnell McDonald is the pinch hitter for David Weathers. Weathers in 1 inning, allowing 1 hit, no runs, with 1 walk and 1 strikeout. McDonald is 3 for 11 with 1 RBI. And Sampson delivers ball 1. Well, the Astros have threatened, but they have left 11 men on base to the Reds 7 left on base. Smoke towards center field. A deep drive, and that'll go all the way to the wall. Looks like a triple for McDonald. Running around second and headed for third, and will make it there without a throw. Pinch triple for McDonald.
Pinch hitters have done a heck of a job for Dusty Baker this afternoon. Harrison drew a leadoff walk in the 7th and scored the tying run. Mike Owens had the big hit in the game, the 2-run double. And now 1-out triple. Great swing of the bat there by McDonald. The Astros will have to pull the infield in. Got to be wary of a squeeze play here with Taveras batting.
Taveras, an excellent bunter. Looks at those infielders in tight. He has a hit, a walk. He's been hit by a pitch, on base 3 times in 4 tries. And there's strike 1. Pudge drew back that arm and looked down at third base. Taveras himself had a pinch triple against the Mets in his first at bat for the Reds.
Well, if ever there was a pitch you wanted to attack with the infield drawn in, that was it. His fastball up a little bit over the middle.
It's 1-1. Now the Reds came into this game as pinch hitters, 5 for 12. It's hard to improve upon that, but they've done it. Pinch 2-run double, pinch triple, pinch walk. Ground ball goes foul. 1-2. The Astros have the top of their order due up. Bourne, Tejada, Berkman trailing by 2, so this run at third really important. Cordero's getting ready, and he's off to a good start this year with an ERA of 0 for 4 appearances. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Jeff Suppan and Milwaukee down the Mets 4-2. Beating Nelson Figueroa. Todd Coffey got his first save, and Mike Cameron hit home run number 4. Fly ball center. McDonald tagging. The wind takes it deeper for Bourne. There's the catch, and McDonald comes home as the throw loops in. It is 4-1. Sacrifice fly for Taveras. His first RBI of the year. Astros Live is coming up right after the ball game today. Bart Ennis getting ready out there in the Landry's Crawford boxes. And, Steve Sparks is out there as well. 4-1 Cincinnati in the 9th inning with Dickerson batting. Dickerson's 0 for 3 after being hit by a pitch. And Cordero, at least a 3-run lead. Still a safe situation as of right now for him. There is strike 1. Joey Votto's on deck. Roll to first. Berkman takes it, 3 unassisted, 1 run, 1 hit. Bottom of the 9th coming, 4-1 Reds. brought to you by Southwest Airlines, by your Texas Ford dealer, by the Progressive Insurance Group, and by Infinity. Well, it's been a gorgeous day today. The Astros fans, though, have watched the Astros, who led 1-0, fall behind. The Reds getting 3 in the 7th, 1 in the 9th inning. Now 3 runs of working room for the closer, Francisco Coco Cordero. And in 4 games, he's not given up a run. He's 3 for 3 in saves.
Yeah, Coco Cordero, hard throwing right-hander, mid-90s fastball, hard slider, 214 career saves. That's 34th on the all-time list, 2 behind Dave Smith. 3-run lead in the 9th inning, gets protected in the last 30 years of baseball or so about 98% of the time. So you could argue using your closer here is like hunting rabbits with an elephant gun, but this is what everybody does. They manage the statistic. Guy's getting paid $12 million, by golly, we're going to get him to save.
Yeah. Well, there's ball 1 to Michael Bourne. He's 1 for 4 and scored a run. Tejada and Berkman to follow for sure. And then Lee could come up if the Astros get a man on. 2 balls, no strikes. Yeah, it's supposed to be a lock with an experienced closer like Cordero and a 3-run lead with 1 inning to go. 2-1 the count. And you mentioned Dave Smith, the longtime Astro. Just 2 saves ahead of Cordero for career work. As Francisco climbs up the all-time ladder, he really addressed a critical need for the Reds when they signed him to that multi-year deal. They had closing problems in previous years.
Yeah, many people felt like the Reds overpaid for Cordero, but when you really struggle in an area, you tend to overpay.
There's a leadoff walk to Bourne. The Reds have been dodging walks all day. That's 7 of them.
Yeah, if the Reds hang on and win this game, Dusty Baker's got to feel a little bit charmed. His club has committed 3 errors. They have all those walks. Not a real clean game played by the Reds.
Miguel Tejada, 2 for 4 RBI. If he gets on, Berkman comes up representing the potential tying run. And it's strike 1 to Miggy. Back in '92, the Reds had no problem. They were the last team to have 2 pitchers with at least 25 saves apiece. Norm Charlton with 26 and Rob Dibble with 25. Got its dynamic duo that year.
Yeah, I like that model. You get 2 or 3 guys that are capable. That way you don't have to lean so heavily on one guy. If you give him a little bit of a funk, or you can use one guy for a couple innings one night and hand the ball to option B the next night.
That's a nice plan. Tejada fouls it back. And Cordero saved the 2-1 win Friday night for the Reds. Gave up 2 hits, 1 to Jeff Blum, 1 to Pudge Rodriguez, but then he got a double play ball from Jason Smith on the way to a scoreless inning. His most recent save. That's headed for the gap in left center field. Willie T going for it. Dickerson there, it drops. And here legging it to third base is Bourne. On the single by Tejada, a 3-hit game for Miggy.
That's all he does lately. 2 hits, 3 hits, 2 hits, night after night. Mr. April again.
He's 13 for his last 25 now.
Got jammed a little bit with this fastball and it was in the air a long time, but a long way to run and nobody could get there.
Now it gets intriguing. Runners at first and third, nobody out. Lance Berkman the batter. 1 for 2 with 2 walks. 0 for 9 with 4 strikeouts against Cordero in his career. Carlos Lee on deck. And it's ball 1.
Well, he had that Babe Ruth look going in the clubhouse earlier with the bathrobe on. Go Bambino here.
He's not pointing out to the bleachers yet. 1 ball and 1 strike. Actually, baseball's version of the Zapruder film seemed to indicate that he was saying it just takes one and not pointing out to that spot. The bat goes away and Carlos goes down. And 2 to count as Carlos is decked with a flying bat of Berkman. Robin was there to shag it. Robin's camera. Carlos has moved about 15 feet to the right. Robin made that play. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Quick reactions. And a strikeout for Cordero. 1 out. Now lead.
Lance reached the first 3 times up. Walk, base hit, walk. Last 2 grounding in a double play, and now punching you out here. Cordero, though, he's got such good stuff. 99 miles an hour. That pitch clocked at.
That looked like it had rocket thrusters on it. Carlos Lee 2 for 8 against Cordero. He is 0 for 2 with a pair of walks today. Fouls it for strike 1. Hunter Pence on deck, so the Astros get a couple more shots if they can stay out of the double play. John Lester in Boston, edge Baltimore 2-1. Popped up, out of play. 0-2 now. Astros 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position. They have stranded 11. They've had 2 bases loaded, 1 out opportunities. Come up empty in both of those in the 3rd and 5th innings. They've hit into 2 double plays. Fly ball. Taveras. Dickerson has it, and here's the tag, and Michael Bourne coming in to score on a sac fly to make it 4-2. Lee getting RBI number 7, but the Reds are 1 out away from putting it away.
And as we mentioned time and time again, there is no crying in baseball, but I think you can whine occasionally. Let's not forget about that phantom double play that really hurt the Astros out there at second base. Joe West called Hunter Pence out, and he wasn't even close to being tagged.
That was big in the 5th inning, so that definitely cost him 1 run, and who knows how many more. Carlos with a sac fly, making it a 2-run game. Now Hunter Pence. He's 1 for 3 with a walk. Hunter 1 for 4, and that hit a home run in his career off Cordero. That was a 2-run shot last year. Taps that one foul. Last year, Cordero was 0-1 against the Astros with an ERA of 7.20, giving up 4 earned runs in 5 innings against Houston. Matsui's on deck. It's 1-1. Dodgers are leading at home 3-0 over Colorado after 3.
There's that play in question back in the 5th. Bases loaded, 1 out. Slow ground ball. And Hunter, I wasn't even close. We had another look. You see it here. Not even close to getting him. Joe calls him out. They complete the double play down the inning.
Now 3-1 to Hunter Pence. If the Dodgers win today, they're off tomorrow. They will open the series here Tuesday night on an 8-game winning streak. They're trying to sweep a 6-game homestand.
Hit one on the railroad tracks.
Strike.
I'm not gonna hit that one on the tracks.
No, 3-2. That was a pitcher's pitch.
Yeah.
Now Tejada ready to run on 3-2, 2 outs. And it's ball 4. Second walk of the inning gives the Astros another shot. It's Matsui now.
A nice job by Hunter, similar to the walk he drew back in the 5th when he was able to lay off the 3-2 changeup from Volquez.
Matsui hasn't played since the first game in Pittsburgh on Monday. He's hitting .214, 1 homer, 2 runs batted in.
Yeah, not exactly the guy you want to face in your first at bat in a week.
Not really. This will be the 25th pitch of the inning for Cordero. Jason Smith on deck in the pitcher's spot. It's 1-1. If it keeps going to the pitcher's spot, Jeff Keppinger is the only position player remaining for Cecil Cooper.
Bet you Hampy's got his spikes on.
Oh, you know it. Now 2-1 to Matsui. Cordero's getting a workout today. Three balls and a strike. Beach Club has 7 hits. These fans have been loyal. Now they're seeing a good 9th inning. And it's a strike.
Didn't have to be.
Looked like Matsui was about to drop the bat and head for first. 3-2 now, 2 outs. The runner's ready to move.
And then up a little bit and away.
Should look that way. 3-2 pitch foul. If he hits one in the gap with Hunter's speed, the Astros could tie this game.
Left center gap will be tough to get. Taveras is shading him that way a little bit. He's got a little more room in right center.
Three-two pitch. There by the screen. Rocked into the crowd quickly.
Caswell choked up on the bat. Just trying to be quick, trying to fight off Cordero. He can't get too greedy here with a nasty guy like Cordero on the hill.
30 pitches so far for Coco. He wants Hernandez out now.
If nothing else, he may not be available for Dusty Baker tomorrow. You don't want to wear out your stud reliever working too hard this early in the year, and that kind of goes back to my earlier argument about do you really need to use your closer in a 3-run game in the ninth.
Matsui fouls it again. He's a .231 career hitter as a pinch hitter, 9 for 39 with an RBI. This will be the 9th pitch he's seen. Fly ball to right field. And there it is to end it. With Hairston coming in for the final out. The Astros in the 9th inning come up with a run on 1 hit. They leave 2. The Reds now have taken 2 of 3 in this series. They win this